Before we get into today's ranking, I just wanted to bring up a couple things. Like, for instance, this comment from Shaniel Cabral that says, I mean, it's not like these guys have millions and can put whatever they want on a mask. And I get this sentiment for, goalies that get called up from junior and different things like that. But I wanted to take a look and see what a mask's cost. And I remember seeing something on Free Design's website, the guy that designs for Tristan Jarry and Aiden Hill, and he's got a price range here. You can see, lower kind of detailed things cost a little less, but you can basically get whatever you want on a mask for a maximum of $2,500. I believe that's probably US dollars. And so, honestly, for most of these goalies, it's not really about cost, why their masks are so generic. I was talking to another guy on here, and he said he had done, some design work, not for masks, but just other kind of artwork. And he was saying you'd be surprised how many people will request very generic stuff. And I was asking him about, is that due to cost or whatever? And he said in most cases, I found that people wanted the generic stuff because they wanted it. So I'd say in 99% of cases, it was a choice. So most of these masks, again, I don't want to come out and say like, oh man, how can this poor junior player not afford to get a mask? Like, no, I don't want to do that. But I kind of am speaking badly about some of these masks that should not be designed in such a generic way. And so, I don't know, I like seeing the more creative designs, more creativity out of it. And so I just wanted to kind of put that out there. It's like, mask designs are not actually unbelievably expensive for players that make the kind of salary NHLers do. Like, they're not that expensive. At least if you go with Free Designs, which again is not Free Designs, it's Freed, like Freedman, Freed Designs. Because obviously they're not free. But anyway, with that, I just want to get into some more of these videos and just look at some better designs. And we're going to go 50 at a time here. We're at number 150 of every goalie mask worn this season, ranked from worst to best, according to my own opinion. But we're going to go 50 at a time now. So 150 to 101, and then we'll do 100 to 51, and then we'll do the top 50 in part 6. And so, yeah, let's do it. Number 150, I have Samuel Ersson's Bell mask. And like I've said in the past, I'm not a big fan of that text that kind of goes down the side of the mask. It's not something I'm too big on. And, you can pick at, the two logos being plopped on the side maybe a little bit if you want. But what I do really like about this is, again, the main thing that you kind of look at right away is like, oh, the Liberty Bell being cracked, and it says City of Brotherly Love. I do really like that, and so it's here at 150. At 149, I have Carter Hart's Foo Fighters mask. We saw another mask back where it had the McGraws on it, and this is, kind of a similar kind of thing where you put some celebrities on or something like that you like, and I think that's a good idea. It's not, maybe the most amazing thing in my eyes. Like, for Foo Fighters, maybe there's a couple songs that I like by them, but I'm not too big on Foo Fighters in general. It's not like I'm a huge fan, but it's kind of a cool thing to put those on there if you like them, and so I think it's good. It looks good, taking that design and making a kind of a realistic person design and putting that on there. But in general, it doesn't rank too highly for me because it's just kind of another one of those, oh yeah, let's put some people on it. Again, it's not generic, which is awesome. It's not a generic looking thing at all. It's very personalized, but at the same time, it doesn't rank too highly with me. At 148, we have Philip Gustafson, and I mentioned last time the other version of this. Oh man, it's so generic. How does that get so high on your list? I just really like it. Again, like I love especially with this cream color that's kind of come in there. I like it better than the other one. Of course, the wild text that's on the top is a specific text that I'm very fond of nostalgia-wise. I didn't mention it was nostalgia-wise last time, but I just remember being really little and seeing that wild text because I had stickers of it or something like that. And so I just love it. I just think it's awesome. And so this is kind of more just me putting something that I personally really like up here because it's my list and I do what I want with my list. Anyway, yeah, this is my 148th favorite mask of the year. 147, we have Soderblom's Raw Hawks mask. And I really like the striping on the bottom. I think that's a good look. I think that's a really good look. And I like how it's not just this kind of generic thing. I know there's a couple logos on the bottom and stuff like that, but it seems different. And this is interesting. I did this ranking. That is interesting. I don't know how I feel. Okay, I'll explain this in a second. Okay, so I ranked this thinking, oh yeah, this is not very generic. It's a clean looking logo. It's got some good polish, and like it's very polished kind of texture. I like that. Like it's rather than shiny, it's more like I don't know. I'm just saying polished, I guess. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but I'm just looking at this and I'm like, man, that's like there's the feathers on the side, but then there's the top part design is like the Blackhawks hair. The Blackhawks logo hair. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know how I feel about this anymore. For Soderblom, if that was his intention to, you know, make himself out to be the Blackhawks logo, that's, yeah, I don't know. That's, anyway, I don't know what his intentions were, but that's a very interesting thing that I've just kind of noticed, and, I don't know, what do you think of that? I wonder, I don't know. I kind of wonder what went into this design, actually, now that I'm looking at it and seeing that that is the same kind of design that's in the Blackhawks logo hair. It's interesting, anyway. Let's just move on. 146, we have Connor Hellebuck's All-Star Game mask. And the thing I like about this especially are the different colored jets that are kind of going out on the kind of top forehead cranium area there. I don't have a very clear picture for this one, but yeah, that's kind of the part that I really appreciate, and I think it looks good, even though you're, you know, plopping the Western Conference logo on each side. I really like the colors of this one, and I do, again, really like the jets that are going up from the face area up onto the cranium. I think that's really awesome. I think that's pretty cool. 145, I've got Georgiev's Dot Tech mask. One that there's not too much going on, but I really like the shine to it. I really like the design and, you know, the stars. And again, stars are pretty easy to make, I think, especially when you're using spray paints. I've seen some videos about that, you know, the sprinkling of those things. But again, like it just makes it look nice here. Like I've talked about Dave art being stretched too thin sometimes, but sometimes you can make some amazing art by doing the simple things. And I think this is one of those cases where it's simple, and again, you just have kind of some logos on the side. They're designed in a different way, but you still have logos on the side. But I feel like it looks really good. And sometimes you don't need to do too much, right, in order for it to look really good, especially with those you know, sprinkles that look like stars. That is especially awesome when you're thinking of the mountain sky and seeing the stars in the mountains. I think that's awesome. So I do have it pretty high, even though it's one of the more simpler designs. 144, I have Dylan Wells Swelly mask. This is another one where it's just like, oh man, you put this generic mask how high? I know, I just really like the design. I think it's got some nice polish to it. And yeah, I know, it's just logos again, like some of the ones lower down, but again, my excuse, I just like the way it looks. Okay, I just like it. 143, I have Akira Schmid's Swiss mask, and the mountains have, you know, the Swiss kind of well, you know, I call it like the first aid kit sort of thing, but I don't know. I don't know what a Swiss person would think of me saying that's the first aid kit plus sign, I guess. But anyway, I think it looks awesome. I think it looks good, and a good mask for Akira Schmid. 142, I have Logan Thompson and his nice, shiny Golden Knights mask, which again, oh, it's shiny. Oh, that's awesome. I love shiny things. Yeah, I do. I love the shine to this. It looks great, even though it is very generic in what is put on there. Although I will say, again, like I said last video, the Vegas Golden Knights logo is a logo that does look good, plopped right on the top of the mask. In my opinion, I think it looks good there. But again, yeah, text on the sides, just a logo on the front of the cross swords and star, But the shine is really what brings it up. So it did get all the way up to 142 for that. 141, I'm into the Jonathan Quick masks. And yeah, they're supposed to be a black knight or a knight kind of, that's what the design is. It's similar to that Hellberg one that we saw earlier. But yeah, I felt like Hellberg's was a way lesser version of what this is. I do like this better. I like the scroll at the bottom as well. And this is one of many of the similar design. And so, yeah, I like this. But what I like more, for instance, is the sketch version, which maybe I wouldn't normally like better, the sketch version, but I feel like when he's actually using it in game, and you see those pictures of him using it in game, I feel like it actually looks really good when you see it there. So I have it here at 140, and we'll get to more of these. You just wait. 139, I have the Stranger Things Cam Talbot Sens mask, which uses the Stranger Things fonts for the numbers and for the Sens on the top. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, there's a better one you'll see coming up in the future. I think next video you'll see another Cam Talbot Stranger Things mask. But this one's not bad. You know, it's not bad. And so the Senators face on here, I don't know, if you look at the regular Senators logo and you look at how Dave Art designs the Senators logo, it's interesting just the way the mouth is. It's more like he's like starting to talk or say something like, hey, I don't know. It's interesting anyway. It looks a little different than the normal Sens logo, but yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll just say that and move on. 138, I've got Thatcher Demko's old school reverse retro Canucks mask. I like the way it says Van on the front. I like the wooden, how it seems like it's made out of wood or like that kind of design to it. I'm not a big fan of the skull Johnny Canuck or the zombie Johnny Canuck or whatever it actually is. I don't really like that much, honestly. But there are some better ways of using it, though. There is one, though, and you'll see it in the future, that I actually do like with the Skull Johnny. But just this cartoony Skull Johnny is not my favorite thing that I've ever seen in my life at all. But it's good enough that it comes up here. And I know it's Thatcher's own thing that he always does to his mask, so it's not a generic thing whatsoever. It's his own design that he keeps putting on there, kind of like how Ed Belfour put the eagle on all the time. So I do respect that for sure, and it's cool to just have the team on there. So yeah, overall a pretty decent design. I like it. 137, I have another Jonathan Quick design of that. Now it's the Golden Knight, and so I do like that as well. Good stuff from Jonathan Quick there. 136, I have Aiden Hill's reverse retro mask. I love the big V on top. And again, even though there's kind of a Vegas going down the side of his mask, just like that text going down the side, I really love the polish of this one. I'm not sure who designed it. I think it is Freed Designs, actually, who would have done this one. I'm not 100% sure on that. But he has done the other Aiden Hill masks, so I believe it probably would be the same guy. I'm not sure. But I just love how the polish looks on there. It's just so well put on there that even though the design is maybe a little lesser, I just love the mask look in general because of that. And the design isn't bad either. It's simpler, but again, like I've said before, simpler. Like I've said before and stuttered before, right? Simple is not always a bad thing. And so here I think it's actually a nice thing. 135, I have Jake Allen's kind of old school Montreal Canadiens logo from like 1909 or whenever it was that says CAC. I think this is pretty nice. I like the banner. I like the fleur-de-lis, the way that is on the bottom. And yeah, I just think it's an overall pretty nice mask. 134, I got Sogard's Great Dane mask. And I don't know, I kind of like the look with the Viking mask and the sword. I don't know, I think that's pretty good. Yeah. You know, you got the kind of generic logo on the side, you got the thing on the top, but I don't know, I kind of like the cartoon design in this case, so I bumped it a little higher than I normally would. 133, I've got another Jonathan Quick Golden Knights mask. This was the one that he had first designed for being on the Golden Knights. We'll see what he wore when he first got there, which I actually really like. But this is the first one that he actually had designed for when he was traded to the the Golden Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm really starting to lose my tongue here. But yeah, I think it's pretty nice, and yeah, just another one of those Jonathan Quick masks, right? Similar design, but they keep getting better as we go. 132, we have Olle Eriksson Ek Quack Hockey mask, and another one that you could say, by the way I've been describing things as generic, that this is generic, but Mighty Ducks logos really work for me. And so even though this might be seen as something generic, I actually still really like it. And so I put it up pretty high because I think that it goes well with it. I do. 131, I got Lucas Dostal. This is someone I never saw play, so I never heard his name announced. So I'm not actually sure how to say that. Dostal. Anyway, another one that's kind of like, yeah, you know, we've got some generic logos thrown on there, but at the same time I think it's done a little better. It's a little more polished. I actually don't mind the Mighty Ducks logo being super small in the middle like that. I think it's nice. Plus you have the Autobots on there, so that's an interesting thing. Awesome. 130, I've got Matt Murray. Matt Murray? The two-time Stanley Cup champ? No, not him. It's a different Matt Murray. One from the Dallas Stars. Texas Stars, I should say. And, yeah, this is gonna begin a trend of, like, going down the route of, like, masks that look like the fabric has been ripped all over them. And so, this is the first of those. This one in a star shape for the Texas Stars. And, really, I mean, it is the AHL team, but does Texas Stars not describe the Dallas Stars? Dallas is in Texas. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, we've got Matt Murray here with the Texas Stars. I like it. 129, we've got Silovs, the skate. Well, his version of the skate logo mask, or the alternate jersey mask. And this was the one that I couldn't quite get the best angle of from the, what would that be? His right side. Man, I'm so bad with left and right, especially when I'm looking at him straight on like this. But yeah, you can't see it as well. And that was a disappointment. I just couldn't find a good picture of that side of his mask. So I'm not actually sure if he has more players given a tribute to on that side. Because again, he has Ojic on this side, Bure, Courtnall. I love how he has Gino Ojic on there. I think that's awesome. One thing I also really like is he's got kind of the, like, I don't know if it's a Celtic sort of thing, but that kind of circled design around that goes around the side of his helmet. I think that's really cool. And so I love that too. And I like the Canucks colors when they do this. I mean, I like the Canucks colors anyway, but I do really like the red and yellow colors. I think it's pretty strong. And so yeah, I do really like it. It looks like there might be a Linden tribute on there too if I'm looking from the front of the mask. But yeah, I do love the tributes on here, and I really like the kind of, again, I'm not sure if it's Celtic or not, but that kind of circular design that's on the side there. I think that's really terrific. I think that's awesome. 128, I got another one that's kind of ripped up fabric. This time I like it a little better because there's a little more to it. You see the bridge in the background. It rips open to the bridge. I think that's cool. Maybe a little bit lackluster in the stripe on the very middle, the black stripe. But honestly, it's fine. And so, yeah, I got it here at 128, 127. I have Askarov doing a very similar thing, but with the Nashville Predators and with lightning all over. So that's cool. 126, I've got John Gibson, and he's got Wild Wing plastered on the front of his head too. Looks a little tired from the angle that we are seeing it from. But yeah, I don't know. I like this one too. Another one that's pretty simple, but another one where I kind of like the simple going on here. 125, I've got Thatcher Demko's Flying V mask, or, you know, skate logo mask as well. It's kind of the best of both worlds, where you get that nice yellow and red color scheme coming up there. It's just that there's not that much more going on with it, that it's down at 125, but it's still really nice. And I do really like the texture of the jersey being on here. Jersey texture was really nice. 124, this is the makeshift mask that Jonathan Quick did to quickly cover up the LA Kings logo that was on his mask before. And so I counted it as his own design because it does look different. And I just love it. I think it looks so good. I don't know why, but there's something about VGK and then the Vegas Golden Knights logo underneath in that format that the LA Kings use, that I actually think this Shield banner logo looks better as a Golden Knights logo just because of what he did here. I think it's awesome. I think it looks really good. Because the one thing I always don't like about the LA Kings current main logo is that it's in the banner. I like the crown being on its own, not a smaller, lesser version of it inside of this big banner that just says LA. I think the VJK letters work better in there than just two letters that are LA. I think it looks better as three and in gold. And yeah, I like the Golden Knights logo underneath. So I don't know. Jonathan Quick, he's just trying to make something quick, you know, when he gets traded to the Vegas Golden Knights, and he ends up making up something that I really love the design of. And I mean, obviously Vegas wouldn't do that, make this VGK logo in a shield a main thing that they would do, because it's basically copying the LA Kings. But I think it looks better than the LA Kings. I do. And so I actually have it higher than the other designs from Jonathan Quick, even though it is a makeshift design. Weird, but that's what I did. 123, I got Thatcher Demko's Vancouver Canucks mask, his main one. Again, I'm not a big fan of, you know, Johnny Canuck as a skull guy, but I don't know. I like the rest of this. I like the jersey texture. I really love the way the VAN at the chin looks. I don't know. I just love the way it looks. I really like that. That's part of it that really sticks out to me. Because even if you look at the side with the Canucks logo there, it's like, maybe that part's a little generic, but I don't know. There's something that I really love about, you know, the VAN, and it is weird. It is weird. Why is that what makes me like this more? I don't know. But again, I'm just, the way that I like the looks of it, that's just how it is. 122, I've got Caden Primo's Geo Lion mask, and another one that's kind of like, what's going on top there? The C is coming out of the CH. I don't know. It's kind of odd, but it's different, and so I kind of like that. Plus, the Geo Lion that's actually on the chin is awesome, and that's what really puts it up higher. Is I really like that lion on the chin. I think it's cool. And then, you know, the rest of the like, Geo formation shapes, they go out to make the mane of the lion. So I like that. I think it's really awesome. So awesome job on this one to Dave Art. We're getting into better Dave Art designs here. And I mean, we would be anyway because we're moving up on the list. But it just goes to show that Dave Art, he does make good stuff. He does, definitely. So I really like this one. 121, John Gillies Kachina look. And yeah, another one that's a little generic. You know why I like this one so much? And this is just weird. I know. When you're ranking 200 things, sometimes very, very little things make you like, oh, I really like that. And it's the way that the number 32 looks on there that bumps it up a little bit higher. Because again, yeah, Space Coyotes on the sides. There's no purple on this one, like the one way, way back that we looked at. I like the way the 32 is made up. It reminds me of Freddy Fish worm doodles. Worm doodles on Freddy Fish. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but that's what it reminds me of, and I like it. And it takes me back. I don't know. I just like the design. I think it's supposed to be a cactus type of design, but I don't know. I like it. And so is it too high? Well, not for me. Not for me, guys. So there we go. 120. I've got the Terminator mask, and the only thing that brings this down so much from where it might normally be, because it's awesome just to have the Terminator on there, it's like, whoa, is the big logos on the side that are Columbus Blue Jackets. I just don't like those logos. I do like Stinger on the chin. I like that, but the big logos on the side bumps it down. But you will see that this is not his only Terminator mask. And that's also part of the reason why, is because there's a Terminator mask that I looked at that is so much better that I ranked it a lot higher. So this is not the only Terminator mask you'll see of Danil Tarasov. 119, I got Shalgren's mask, and yeah, I don't know why. Again, like sometimes it's just like, I just like the looks of it, but I really like it. I really like the amount of leaves on it, and a lot of the times I'm not a big fan of busyness with all these types of things, but this time I really like it. I love the 3D-ness of the two maple leafs on the side. I just think it's cool. It's kind of got that feel that we saw on the front forehead of Samsonov, but it's stylized in a way where it's even more Toronto Maple Leafs, which may make it more generic in some sense, because it's like, oh, that's just the Maple Leafs logo. But in another sense, I just feel like it looks a little better. And so I don't know. That's just me anyway. Number 118. Here is Brian Elliott's mask for the reverse retro. Way, way up from where his other masks were by quite a bit. But I just love this one. It's a little bit cleaner, I think, than the other one. And maybe not than the 151 mask, ranked mask. It might not be as clean as that, but I don't know. There's something about the simplicity, something about the palm tree actually being the circle for the Tampa Bay Lightning. I really like that. And I don't know. It's interesting too, now that I'm looking at it a little bit more, how much kind of white space is there at the top and how stickery the texture is. But I don't know. I feel like the look itself is just good enough to be this high, you know? 117, I got Logan Thompson's Vegas Pharaoh. I put Pharaoh because there's like kind of like that Sphinx there. That kind of mask, I put that here. And yeah, there's a few generic things on here, but I do like the overall look, the overall way that the generic stuff is designed into it, and then the extra addition of, yeah, Pharaoh, basically, right? So yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's well done. I will say though that it is a very good thing that I am not taking the back of the mask into account when I'm ranking this, because I don't like how Elvis looks there at all. I'm just like, oh man, that is not my favorite thing. And it would be lower if that was part of my ranking. If I was ranking the backs of the masks, if I had a picture of every single back of every goalie's mask and was ranking according to the backs of the mask as well. But I'm not, and so it's here at 117. 116, I've got Korpisalo's mask from Columbus when he was on Columbus still. And yeah, I really like it. I'm not usually big on super American patriotic flag sort of things. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm Canadian and I'm just like, stars and stripes, stars and stripes. It's like, okay. But I don't know. It's just, not something I'm really into style wise in designs of things. But this time I think it looks really well. Really well done. Really good. And so I really like it. And I know it's technically the Ohio flag, but there's a lot of American flag elements that you see that are similar to the Ohio flag elements in a lot of ways. And so, I don't know. I feel like it really works here. I feel like the colors are really good as well for that, where it's not just pure white, but there's a little bit of off-white in there. I like that. Love the cannons that come out of the top. And that really is the main thing that does it for me. And yeah, I mean, I always love that Corpy, the way the Corpy is spelt on there. I always think that's pretty nice. So yeah, 115, I've got Charlie Lindgren's Faded Weagle mask. And I like this better than the one before. I really do. But it's still not quite at the level where I would say it's the best of his, because you'll see another one. And I like the colors of the other one a lot better. But I do think the Weagle looks better here. It's not just the face of the Weagle plopped into place boldly. It's kind of a faded, overarching Weagle that you see is above the kind of, I think, the Capitol building. And I like that a lot better. And so, yeah, I have it higher, a lot higher, quite a bit higher than the other one that he has. 114, I've got Keith Kincaid's mask, and this is mostly here because Happy Gilmore's on there, and I just think, yeah, like if you're on Boston, that is like one of the things to put on your mask. That makes it work really well. And so I do really like that for the design, and so I have it here at 114. 113, I have Eric Shalgren's winter mask, and again, you got that kind of iceberg type of design like you see on what's his name again, Samsonov, his mask. And it's bigger. It's actually very similar with the maple leafs going around the back there as well. It's very similar, but I just feel like this is the design of the maple leafs mask that I like the best. That's similar to the Samsonov kind of iceberg looking maple leaf thing. I like that. And I really like with this mask as well, something that bumps it up even higher is I really like the way the skyline is put into there. And I don't know, I can't really explain, because you can see how it's not so different from the ones we've looked at in the past, especially the one that I talked about at the very start with Spencer Martin's mask. I think that was the second video, part 2. And how that skyline was like, and this skyline I just think is, it might not look that different, but there's something about it that I just really, really like. And I don't know, maybe it's just because the CN Tower is there, and the CN Tower is awesome. I don't know. But yeah, sometimes it's just hard to explain things that just pop into my eye, and just, I'm like, oh, I like that. 112, I got Casey DeSmith, his black stripe mask. A very, 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 very simple mask, but a mask that I still think is really awesome. I actually really like it. This is one where I feel that simple works quite well. And so I'll give it that. It's got that vibe. I'm not sure if he's actually throwing it back to someone, but it's got that vibe of the masks that you see in the 70s. You know, just the stripe and just a couple logos on the side. I don't know. I dig it anyway. I dig this one. 111, this is one of the unused masks. One of the few that I'm counting. Again, I'm counting only Stadium Series masks and Winter Classic masks that were actually not used in-game. Although it's possible, again, with this one that Ronta got to wear it during a game, because sometimes with the Stadium Series and the Winter Classic, sometimes they wear those jerseys again, and so sometimes they bring out those helmets again for that. So he may have actually worn this during a game, but either way, I really like the polish of this one. I really do. I'll have to look up the word after this because I'm not using the right word. I'm looking at this and I'm like, polish, polish, polish. And I know it's not the right word, but instead of shine, because it's not really shiny, you know, I think of shiny as Logan Thompson's mask that we saw earlier. This one's more different, but it's still clean in that way. And so I'm just calling it polish until, you know, next video where I actually have the right word. But yeah, it's got Rantanplan or Rantanaplan. I'm not sure how to say his name. That cartoon character that basically has the name Ranta in it. And yeah, you'll see him again a few times. I really like the way the squares go across. I think that looks really nice. That's one of the biggest reasons it's up here. But also, yeah, of course, the polish. Because again, yeah, slap the Carolina Hurricanes logo on the top. Oh, just like a lot of things. But I think there's some elements to this that make it really nice. It's interesting, Ronta's kind of remembering his past as a Arizona Coyote on here and putting a coyote howling on there. But hey, it's a nice looking thing. It looks good here. It actually really does. And it works well together. So I have it here at 111. 110, I got Jonas Johansson's Mountain Shiny Mask, and another one where it's like, wow, that's got some good shine to it, even though there's, you know, just two logos plopped on the side, even though, you know, it's similar to stuff we've seen in past with Colorado Avalanche masks. Like, they're very similar in some ways, but I just really like this one a lot more. Yeah. 109, I've got Magnus Hellberg's, I say generic wings, because it is in a way, but again, like, I think it's really well designed. I don't actually know if I would say this is generic, because like the logos are there, I guess, in the kind of like the sides, but really this is just kind of like a designed thing with using that kind of wing design. And so yeah, it might not be as generic as I, you know, make it out to be in the title here, but yeah, I really like the look of it either way, obviously, because it's up at 109, but I do really like this, the way it looks for sure. Red Wings, like, if you're just making your design all about, like, kind of a wing texture, I don't know, I mean, it looks really good. I mean, you're part of that team. It's good, right? It makes sense, but it also looks good. So, yeah. 108, I've got Tristan Jarry's Winter Classic one, and I really like the big P on the on the top of the mask there, and I don't know. Sometimes I'm not as big on some of these designs with real people on them, and they probably could have been better designed. Like, it could have been painted a little better with their faces and stuff, but I don't know. It's nice, and it's not generic, and I like the baseball kind of weave to it as they were playing in Fenway Park. Yeah, it's a good mask. But yeah, it doesn't quite crack the top 100. 107, another Casey DeSmith one, or that was Casey. Oh no, that was. Oh, whoops! It says Tristan Jarry here. Sorry, this is still Casey DeSmith. Another Casey DeSmith mask is this office mask, and I think that's another good mask. Again, I'm not counting the back. That actually would bump it up a little bit. I love that scene. That's like one of the only things I've ever seen from The Office. Because I never really got into the show The Office, but that one scene where he puts the the face of that dummy on his own face. It's good. It's a good scene anyway. 106. Here's Charlie Lindgren's final mask, And yeah, another good one. I just really like the colors of this one that go back to the 90s era and early 2000s era with the reverse retro. And so it's higher basically because of that. Just the colors look really nice. Yeah, the colors look really nice. Yeah, I know. When you're ranking 200 things, it's like, yeah, the colors look really nice. I'll put it up here. 105, I've got Samsonov's St. Pat's mask, and yeah, I just think it's nice. Again, can I explain it much more than I just like it? I just like it. Not really, but I do. I do like it. 104, I got Swayman's Winter Classic mask, and again, there's some nice design to the Fenway Park stuff, and you know, you got David Ortiz and some other guys that I don't know because I don't know baseball very well. That are on the mask though. That's nice. There's even Red Sox logos on there, which is interesting. The big reason it's up so high though is yeah the bear that's on the forehead. It's awesome. I know it's just another plopping the logo on there, but it's awesome. 103, I've got Joseph Wall's first mask in blue, and then in 102 I've got it in white with blue wings this time. And so yeah, just a bunch of different elements on here. Love having a screaming eagle at the forefront of the face, and so yeah, I have it pretty high. And then we'll finish off this video with 101, Alexander Georgiev's, another one of those Colorado masks. I just really love the army color to it. It's got good shine to it. Good, I don't know if shine again is the right word, but got good polish. And yeah, am I a fan of the numbers, the way they are on the chin? I wasn't with Samsonov, but here it's for the military night, military tribute, so it works a lot better there. It makes a lot more sense. So I don't know, is this too high for that? It might be, but again, I just like it. I just like it. So with that, we will finish that up, and I'll put on here the next video whenever it comes up. It'll pop up on your screen whenever it's out. And yeah, hope you're enjoying this. I mean, you might be really angry that I put something pretty low, but we're getting into really good territory, and I'm pretty excited to get into the top 100 and show you what I think of them.